Picture this. You're a student barely out of your teens, suddenly sitting across from some of the toughest players in poker. No fame, no big reputation, just grit and determination. That was the reality for one German newcomer in 2011. With millions on the line and legends at the table, most thought he'd crumble under the pressure. Instead, he stunned everyone. What came next was a masterclass in strategy and an unforgettable run that saw a student outlast the pros and walk away with a life-changing fortune. This is the unbelievable story of Pius Heinz. Pius Heinz was born on May 4, 1989, in Bonn, Germany, and grew up in the small village of Oldendorf. For most of his childhood, he lived a regular life. Nothing unusual, but in high school, everything changed when he stumbled across poker. Watching high-stakes poker and the World Series of Poker on German television lit a spark. He began to wonder if he could be part of that world. At first, Heinz wasn't ready to face the pros. He started small, playing casual games with friends. That's when he realized something crucial. Poker wasn't just luck, but strategy, psychology, and patience. From that moment, he threw himself into learning the craft. When he tested his skills online, he signed up as Master P89. Starting from a free $50 bankroll from pokerstrategy.com, Heinz grinded low-stakes tables, sharpened his play, and turned it into real money. Eventually, his online success earned him over $700,000. Meanwhile, he studied business psychology at Fresenius University of Applied Sciences in Cologne, but poker had already taken over. And yes, after just 2 semesters, he quit to chase the game full-time. Quickly, he proved it was the right choice, winning $61,000 in a full-tilt poker Sunday mulligan, then $30,000 in a PokerStars event. But success wasn't a straight line. 6 months before the 2011 World Series of Poker, Heinz hit a brutal downswing. Loss after loss left him doubting himself. The grind was draining, and live poker felt slow and boring. He told himself if the WSOP didn't go well, he'd quit and go back to school. That all changed in early 2011 when Heinz finally took a shot at live tournaments, and it paid off instantly. In a $1,500 no-limit hold'em event in Las Vegas, he battled through a tough field to reach the final table, earning $83,286. More importantly, he proved he could outplay the pros. Just weeks later, Heinz entered the ultimate stage, the $10,000 World Series of Poker main event. What began as a TV dream in Germany had now become his reality. The 2011 main event wasn't just another poker tournament. It was the crown jewel of the World Series, the one every player dreamed of winning, with 6,865 players from 85 countries chasing a $64 million prize pool. Day 1 was split into 4 sessions, and Heinz chose 1A, ready to go home early if things went badly. Instead, it became the start of the most incredible ride of his life. From the get-go, the challenge was enormous. Heinz battled through the 3rd largest field in poker history, each day surviving thousands of opponents. By day 8, he was nearly out, short-stacked and clinging to hope. Then came a turning point, eliminating Sam Barnhart in 17th place, followed by a dramatic clash with Andrei Petachuk, where Heinz won a huge pot and then knocked him out entirely. For a moment, he was flying high with over 25 million chips, but poker has a way of cutting hot runs short. A tough stretch against John Hewitt saw him lose 3 big pots, his stack falling below 10 million. Suddenly, he was all in for his tournament life. King-Jack against Hewitt's Ace-King. On the brink of elimination, Heinz hit a miracle straight on the river to double up. That lifeline carried him to the final table in 7th place with just over 16 million chips. And just like that, the 22-year-old German now found himself among the November 9, surrounded by pros with bigger stacks and bigger reputations. When he returned to Vegas 4 months later, he wasn't just the underdog. He was practically invisible, written off as someone who'd fold under the bright lights. With chip leader Martin Stashko and Ben Lamb holding position over him, few believed his aggressive 3- and 4-bet strategy could hold up. Most thought he'd be lucky to survive the first night, but Heinz wasn't rattled. All he needed was one double up to flip the script. If there was ever a poker Cinderella story waiting to be written, Pius Heinz seemed destined to play the part. It was a wild opening day at the final table, the kind of night where you could feel the tension in your bones. Nearly 8 hours of high-stakes action sent 6 players packing. But for Heinz, It became the ride of a lifetime. He had started 7th in chips, but by the end of the night, the young German had clawed his way to the top. That left 3 heavy hitters, Heinz, Ben Lamb, and Martin Stashko. The Penn and Teller Theater buzzed with energy, poker finally feeling alive again after the dark days of Black Friday and the Full Tilt scandal, but the shocks came fast. Ben Lamb, the man many believed was the best tournament player in the world, was gone in the blink of an eye. On the very first hand of 3-handed play, he made a risky move with King Jack, trying to push Martin Stashko off a pot. Stashko shoved back with pocket 7s, and Lamb was trapped. After losing the hand, his stack was shattered. 3 hands later, with almost nothing left, he shoved Queen 6 into Stashko's pocket jacks. Just like that, the Las Vegas star was out in 3rd place. That left Europe to claim the crown, Germany's Pius Heinz against the Czech Republic's Martin Stashko. Before play even began, Heinz had admitted that if someone had offered him 2nd place, back when he was in 7th, he would have taken it in a heartbeat. Now here he was, battling for the world championship. The heads-up duel was a war of attrition. For over 6 hours, the two traded blows, neither willing to give an inch. Heinz came out firing, taking 8 of the first 12 hands, raising relentlessly, applying pressure like a seasoned pro. But Stashko wasn't folding. He fought back with perfectly timed bluffs and even built a 2-1 chip lead at one point. The theater echoed with chants and songs, sounding more like a World Cup soccer match than a poker game, as the crowd urged them on. Finally, after more than 100 hands, the turning point arrived. With ace-queen, Heinz shoved on a king 10-7 board. Stashko called with queen 9. The turn and river blanked, and Heinz doubled up in a monster pot, flipping the script entirely. Suddenly, Stashko was the one on life support. A few hands later, it was all over. Stashko went all in with 10-7, only to collide with Heinz's ace-king. The board didn't help, and as confetti rained down, Heinz dashed to his cheering section, completely swept up in the moment. At just 22, he became the first German to win the WSOP main event, pocketing $8.7 million, the 3rd largest prize in the tournament's history. But beyond the money, he claimed the ultimate poker honor, the gold and diamond bracelet. After his incredible WSOP victory in 2011, Heinz stepped into the whirlwind of being poker's newest world champion. He traveled the globe representing poker stars, embracing his role as the face of the game. His post-championship run began in Barcelona, where he won the European Poker Tour Turbo Bounty for over 17,000 euros. In Prague, he made another deep run, finishing 23rd. By early 2012, Heinz was still riding the wave. At the PokerStars Caribbean Adventure in the Bahamas, he cracked another top 5 finish, earning nearly $46,000. That summer, he returned to Las Vegas for the World Series, eager to prove himself again. The results weren't as spectacular, small cashes in a couple of events, but his presence alone made headlines. Later that year, he finished 3rd in a high roller in Prague, walking away with another €60,000 payday. But then, the shine started to fade. By 2013, Heinz looked a little rusty. At the WSOP, he only managed an 11th, 20th place finish, and though he popped up again at an event in Vienna the following year, it was clear something had changed. His deep run in San Remo showed flashes of brilliance, but it also came with a telling confession. Sitting on the casino steps with a cigarette, Heinz admitted that poker no longer held the same pull. He wasn't chasing titles anymore. He was playing when he felt like it, and only because his new girlfriend, German poker presenter Natalie Hoff, encouraged him to join her at events. That honesty gave fans a glimpse of where his heart really was. Heinz wasn't wired for the constant grind, the endless travel, and the heavy spotlight. He enjoyed the game, but on his own terms. What once was a full-time career had now become a hobby, a pastime rather than a pursuit. Then came 2016. His surprise return to form. At King's Casino in Rozvadov, he captured the Eureka Poker Tour Super High Roller, defeating a tough field and collecting €44,814. The victory pushed his career earnings past $9 million, cementing his place near the top of Germany's all-time money list. But even in victory, Heinz made it clear. This wasn't a comeback story. He said flatly that he didn't play much anymore and was simply taking it easy. And after that, Pius Heinz practically vanished. His PokerStars sponsorship ended, His tournament appearances slowed to a trickle, and his name quietly faded from poker conversations. He had given the game its fair share of brilliance and drama, then stepped away without looking back. What made Heinz so fascinating wasn't just how he won, but how he walked away. At 22, he had the world at his feet, millions in the bank, and the chance to become one of the all-time greats. Instead, he chose happiness over fame, privacy over pressure. Fans often wonder what could have been if he had stayed in the grind, battling the game's best year after year. Would he have become a legend? Or would the weight of expectations have crushed him? No one knows for sure. What is certain, though, is that for one unforgettable moment in 2011, Pius Heinz was poker's king, and then he chose to write his story differently.